Hi guys, it's Jason back today again to talk with you about a little more grammar. Today we're going to look at two different things. We're going to start with talking about articles, and then we're also going to look at how to identify uncountable nouns. So let's get started. First thing we're going to answer this question: what are articles? Secondly, we're going to identify countable and uncountable nouns. And then the third thing we're going to do today is learn how to make uncountable nouns countable. So let's get started. Now, first thing, when we talk about an article, in everyday English, an article would be like a short story in a newspaper or a magazine. However, in terms of grammar, articles are actually just three different words: a, an, and the. But these three words can be a little bit confusing, especially for people learning English as a second language, because many other languages don't have articles, or if they do, they're in a different place. So we're going to take a look at how to use these articles. Before we do, I want to make sure you know two other words. First, consonants. Okay, in the English alphabet, there are 26 letters. 21 of them are consonants, and you can see all of them right here. And then the other type of letters we have are called vowels. Now, today I said there are 5 vowels here: A, E, I, O, U. My daughter actually corrected me because she wanted to remind me that Y is also a vowel, which is true in many cases. However, for today, we're going to consider Y simply as a consonant. Now, why am I teaching you consonants and vowels? The answer is because the beginning of a word follows, if you use a consonant, then you put a in front of it. If you start a word with an, then you put a vowel after it. So let me give you a few examples. Take a look at all of these words that start with a consonant. We say a tiger, a beaver, a television, a man, a bright star, and a big eagle. Now I put big eagle in there on purpose. Eagle, of course, is a vowel. It starts with the letter E. So why did we say a? Because the adjective in front of it is big. So even though eagle is the noun, we say a big eagle. Let me show you a few examples now of an. Here we have an ant, an octopus, an eye, an igloo. And I threw in 2 of those as well. You can see we have an ugly shirt, and finally, an electric guitar. So we put an in front of ugly, even though, again, ugly is an adjective. We put an in front of it to describe the shirt. Same thing for electric guitar. Now the third article is the. The, here are a few of them: the moon, the sun, the sky, the mayor, the movie, the expensive one. The is different from a and an, because when we use the, we are referring to a specific thing or a specific person. The moon, well, here on Earth we only have one moon. So I can say, look at the moon. On the other hand, if we were on Jupiter, well, we would probably be crushed to death. But Jupiter has more than 20 moons. So I could still say the moon, but then I would have to point. Okay? So the sky, oh, look up at the sky. The mayor, well, again, there are an awful lot of mayors in many cities around the world. But if I say I spoke to the mayor, we can assume I spoke to my mayor or the mayor that we already discussed. The movie. So my daughter loves the movie Frozen. And so she said, "Daddy, did you like Frozen?" I said, "Absolutely." And then I can ask you, "Isabel, did you like the movie?" And she knows I'm still referring to the same one, the movie. Unfortunately, there are a lot of exceptions to this as well. So let me show you a few exceptions for these articles. Okay? First, a unicorn, a union, and a university degree. The U that comes at the beginning of each of these words is, of course, a vowel. But because of the way that the U sounds, it has the Y sound in the beginning of it. Instead of being a short U like umbrella, we have a U sound. So instead of saying an university, instead we say a university degree. But there are also examples where we don't use a for consonants, and that would be for the letter H. So an hour, an herbal drink, an honest person. All three of these, hour, herbal, and honest, start with the letter H, except it's a silent H. And so we have to substitute it for an. So an hour. Okay. One thing I didn't put on the PowerPoint either, but a lot of times we use abbreviations. For example, FBI or CIA. Well, a CIA investigation, but we say an FBI investigation. The reason? F starts with a short E sound. So that's why we say an FBI investigation. CIA, first sound is S. So a CIA investigator or CIA spy. All right. Lastly, the. Now, articles usually are singular. So if I have an hour, that means I have exactly 1 hour. If I have a unicorn, I have only 1 unicorn. However, articles for the can be plural. So we say the stars. Look at the stars up above. Or the states. The southeastern states is plural, but we say the. And of course, the people. So look at all the people who are celebrating the big event. So the can be a singular thing like the moon or the sun, or it can be a plural thing as well, like the stars, the people, the hamburgers are done. Suddenly I'm getting hungry. Okay, next I'd like to move on and look at uncountable nouns. So there are a lot of different categories for uncountable nouns, and there are many, many of them. So I'm just going to give you a small sampling today. First, uncountable nouns are all liquids. So we have milk, water, juice, oil. And of course, there are a whole lot more than that. We could say Coca-Cola or Pepsi. We could say cider. We could say gasoline. All of these are liquids, and they're all uncountable. We also have materials. For example, plastic, cardboard, concrete, metal. All of these they're things that we make things from, but all of them also are uncountable. And then last, we have concepts. So for example, the concept of knowledge, the concept of patience, the concept of wisdom, or the concept of advice. All of these are just a few examples of uncountable nouns. So take a look right now at these sentences and see if you can tell me the uncountable noun. Number 1, I want some rice instead of potatoes. There are 2 nouns in this sentence, rice and potatoes. Which one is countable? The answer is rice. So potatoes is plural, 1 potato, 2 potatoes. But we can't say 1 rice, 2 rices. It doesn't work. I want some rice. How about the second one? The frame is made from steel. Again, there are 2 nouns in this sentence, frame and steel. Which one is the uncountable noun? The answer, steel. Steel is a material that we use to make things from. Frame, we can make it plural. I bought 2 picture frames at the store. So the frame, okay, it can be 1 or 2, okay? And then the last sentence, she had enough insight to get a second opinion. What are the 2 nouns here? Well, they're insight and opinion. Which one of these is uncountable? The answer is insight. Okay? So you cannot have 2 insights. You can certainly have 2 opinions. Okay? So here we can have rice, steel, and insight. All 3 of these are uncountable nouns. Unfortunately, sometimes we also have examples where a noun can be both countable and uncountable depending on how you use it. So let me give you a few examples, again in 3 different categories. The first are animals. Chicken can be a countable noun. My brother has 2 chickens in his backyard. On the other hand, I ate some chicken for dinner. The animal chicken is countable. Certainly we can say 1, 2, 3 chickens. But I ate 2 chickens for my dinner? Oh my goodness, I ate 2 giant things like that? No, we don't say that. I ate some chicken. Same thing for duck, okay? There are some ducks swimming in the lake. But I ate some barbecued duck for dinner last night. Oh, it was good. Fish is a kind of interesting word because we can say 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. Even though we can't make fish as a plural noun, it still is a countable noun, except if you're eating it. And then we can say, oh yeah, I ate some fish. And then lastly, my favorite meat of all time, turkey. Oh, I love Thanksgiving. But we can say, I ate some turkey, okay? I ate a turkey breast, but breast is countable. I ate some turkey is correct. However, there are many turkeys, or there are wild turkeys, that you can see in the local state park. All right, so you can see how all of these animals are countable, but all of the meat that we get from these animals, uncountable. Now we have some other examples as well. Paper as something that we buy in the store that we use to write on is an uncountable noun. However, we can say that my students had to turn in an English paper. Okay? A paper then is countable. So the students have to write 5 papers throughout the semester. Sometimes paper can also be used as an abbreviation for newspaper. And newspaper is actually kind of interesting because it can be both countable and uncountable by itself. But I sold newspapers when I was a high school student. Wood is an uncountable noun. It's material that we use to make furniture from. However, if I say, let's go hiking in the woods, woods would be countable there. However, then it's a reference to a forest. Glass, well, I bought my wife a glass vase as opposed to a ceramic vase, okay? Glass is material. On the other hand, we need to get 2 glasses out to pour our drinks, or I need to wear a pair of glasses. Then they would be countable. Coffee is a word that's changed recently. Coffee is, of course, a drink. So drinks are liquids. So usually we don't say a coffee. Okay? I went to go and buy some coffee. It's no problem. However, often these days we hear people go to my favorite coffee shop. Let's go to Starbucks and we can buy 2 coffees. So I'm not sure if that's grammatically correct, but you will hear that a lot. Let's go get a couple coffees and we'll talk about it. Last, here's some concepts for you, and this is a little bit confusing, okay? Love can be a countable noun. There are 2 loves in my life, my wife and my daughter. but we can say the wedding was so beautiful, there was a lot of love in that room. Time can be a countable noun, okay? So I have traveled to Korea 5 times. On the other hand, I have spent a lot of time as a teacher. So when we talk about the repetition of something, how often you've done something, we say times. But if we talk about it as an idea, it's time. Space, again, can be a countable noun, okay? Are there any spaces left for the concert? Then it could be a substitute for the word seats, but any spaces. On the other hand, I like an apartment with a lot of space. It's talking about how much room is in a specific area. It's a space. And experience is also both countable and uncountable. I've had many experiences with difficult students. On the other hand, I've been a teacher for a long time. I have a lot of teaching experience. So all 4 of these are concepts that are both countable and uncountable nouns. Now, coming back, how do you identify countable nouns? Well, one way to do it is to look at the word that goes in front of it. Okay? Here are a few examples of countables. Many, few, every, and each. If I use the word many in front of experience, then I have to say many experiences. It's a countable noun. On the other hand, there are many books behind me. Books absolutely is countable. I have a few minutes. Minutes is countable. 1 minute, 2 minutes. So, but I have a few minutes, okay. Every student in my class has to do an assignment. Every student. Student is uncountable, or student is singular noun, but still, it is a countable noun. And each day of my life, I try to live it to the fullest. Day is a countable noun, okay? So if you use one of these words, many, few, every, and each, then it's a countable noun. By the way, I didn't put this down, but also numbers, of course, if it's countable, you can say 1, 2, or 3. There are 3 coats on the shelf. Or I have an idea. Idea is countable. I have one idea. I have an idea. On the other hand, uncountable, we use these words much, little, and less. I cannot say I have much ideas. It's wrong. Okay? We can say I have much time. Honestly, usually we use much as a negative sentence. I don't have much time. But time is an uncountable noun here. Okay? So, I'm sorry, I don't have much milk. I don't have much butter. Butter and milk are uncountable nouns. Same thing for little. Okay, I have a few minutes. I have little time. Can't say I have little minutes. Doesn't work. I could say I have little girls, but in that case, little girls refers to their size. Doesn't refer to how many I have. Okay? And same thing for less. Okay? I have less time than I thought. Or I have less sugar than I had last week. Finally, here are a few examples of determiners that we can use for both countable and uncountable nouns. Some, any, a lot of, this or that. Now keep in mind, some is very, very common. It's a very good expression. But remember, if we use some for a countable noun, you have to make it plural. Okay? There are some students in my class. Or there is some time left before we go home. Any is actually used often as a question or a negative sentence. But remember, if it's uncountable, we say, is there any butter? or is there any jam? But if we're using it as a question or if we're using it as a sentence, we'll say a negative sentence. For example, there aren't any computers available. There aren't any computers, plural. A lot of, we'll talk about more in a few minutes. And this and that can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. Same thing for, this and that can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns. Remember, if it's countable, it must be singular, okay? This cell phone, or that refrigerator. This experience is countable, okay? Or that blow dryer is expensive. We can also use this and that for advice. This advice is good, okay? That knowledge is forbidden, okay? Harry Potter maybe said that. So this and that can be used for countable and uncountable nouns. All right, so let's take a look again at some uncountable nouns and see if you can identify. There is some room upstairs. Room can be both countable and uncountable. But which is it here? Well, because we said some, if it was countable, we would say there are some rooms. We didn't. We say there is some room. So room is uncountable. How about this? I need to deliver a few pizzas. Pizza actually can be both countable and uncountable. I want to eat some pizza, then we're talking about like 1 or 2 slices of pizza. But I have some pizza, it's uncountable. Here, there are, or I need to deliver a few pizzas. Pizzas, first of all, is plural, and second, I said a few. So it's a countable noun. Last, he gave me many ideas, but I didn't have enough time to choose. Well, what are the 2 nouns here? First, ideas. Ideas is plural, so it must be a countable noun. Many ideas. The other noun, though, is time, and I didn't have enough time. Because I didn't say times, I didn't have enough time. Time is an uncountable noun. All right. Lastly, let's look at these words here. There is some room upstairs, as I said, is uncountable, and we didn't have enough time. Time is uncountable as well. Okay, last thing, we're almost done here. Last, how do you make uncountable nouns countable? So let me show you examples. A piece of, a slice of, a pinch of, a loaf of, a bottle of. Okay? A slice of bread, a slice of pizza, a piece of chocolate, a piece of cake. A loaf of bread, of course, is much bigger than a slice of bread. A bottle of what? A bottle of Coke, a bottle of Pepsi, a bottle of hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer is an uncountable noun, but I want to buy 2 bottles of hand sanitizer. We can also use these expressions: a pound of, a liter of, a ton, an ounce, an inch of. Okay? I need some rope. Okay. I need a piece of rope. Good. I need 2 inches of rope. I need some milk. Well, how much? I need a gallon of milk. I need a liter of milk. So this is how we measure. And then there's actually one more way. How do we measure? We substitute words. So I need some money. I need $20. I am looking for some new knowledge. Knowledge is uncountable. I'm looking for 20 facts about the Korean War. I'm looking for some advice. I want a suggestion. I have to move some furniture. I have to move an end table. Okay? So here, furniture, so advice, knowledge, money are all uncountable nouns, but we substitute them for other things. By the way, meat is also like that. We talked about that earlier. We said 1 chicken, 2 chickens, and then some chicken. But many times in English, meat is uncountable if we substitute. So a cow, some beef. A deer, some venison. Okay? So a pig, some pork. So those are also uncountable nouns that come from countable animals. Lastly, it is very difficult. English is a really hard language. So here's the trick, okay? A lot of. When you look at these sentences, look. Number 1, we need a lot of water to be healthy. Water is uncountable noun, but we can say a lot of. Second, the teacher assigned a lot of material. Material is uncountable, but the teacher assigned a lot of. Again, for an uncountable noun, no problem. Number 3, do you have a lot of books? Books is countable. We have 1, 2, 3 books, but a lot of books. And last one, there are a lot of things to say. 1 thing, 2 things. But we can say a lot of for both countable and uncountable nouns. If you want to substitute many and much, you can. There's no problem with that. But keep it simple. Just use a lot of. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. I want to say great job today. I hope that you understood everything that you watched. If not, watch it again. And finally, if you have a question, please don't hesitate to write a comment below or send me an email. So we'll post our email address. I don't promise to check my email every day, but I do promise I will get back to you within a week after you've emailed me. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you have a great time studying English. Bye.